From Hargeisa, Somaliland, this is CBATV. Hello and welcome to the news in brief with me, Abdillahi Hassan. Somaliland's parliament today abolishes monopoly in the telecommunications sector. The House of Representatives today passed amendments to the telecommunication law to remove the monopoly of the fiber optic cable sector. In today's session, the House approved the amendments proposed by 75 out of 83 members of the House. The MPs pushing for the motion argued that the law contradicts the Constitution in the sense of infringing on the free enterprise. They further alleged that the law contains internal inconsistencies that needed to be addressed. Bashir Mohammed Farah, the Speaker of the House, announced his acceptance of the motion to amend the law and put it to a vote. 68 MPs voted in favor of the motion, while only one representative abstained while another member voted against it. It was passed with an overwhelming majority. Telesom Group, the leading telecommunication company in the country, is said to benefit the most from the amendment. Because of the previous law, the company was denied to land internet fiber optic cables in Berbera. Immediately, Telesom welcomed the amendment passed by the House of Representatives. The company said this was a step towards economic development and technological advancement. Somalia's 2012 presidential candidate Omar Salat Ilmi and former governor of Maroodijeex region in the 1970s acknowledged the genocide against the people of Somaliland by the military rule of Siad Barre. He differentiated between the civil wars in Somalia and Somaliland, then known as the northern regions of the Somali Republic. He said the civil war in southern Somalia was Calanka convulsions, while in Somaliland the Somali state committed genocide against its people. The former governor said he was trying to answer to people from Somalia who regularly downplay the genocide against the people of Somaliland by arguing that Somalis everywhere fought each other. Omar Salat Ilmi made these remarks in Hargeysa, where he visited multiple times since Somaliland unilaterally declared independence in 1991. On the other hand, Omar Salat stressed that he still believes in unity between Somaliland and Somalia. However, he criticized the current efforts to bring together the two countries, saying it will not succeed. He further blamed the southern politicians for the unilateral independence Somaliland declared in 1991. Omar Salat Ilmi was the mayor of Hargeisa and governor of Maroodijeex between 1973 to 1980. After that, he became a member of SSDF and SNM armed groups that fought against Siad Barre regime, and in 2012 he ran for president in Somalia. The president of Jubaland state of Somalia has accused the federal government leaders of incompetency, saying they cannot be entrusted with any government institutions as they have misused the national army, judiciary, the intelligence agencies, the control over airspace, and the country's finances. Jubaland's president, while speaking at the opening ceremony of the state's parliamentary sessions, praised Jubaland's parliament for preserving and working under extremely tough conditions, including the constant threats and interference from the federal administration. Garowe, who is serving his third term as the regional president, in his address said his administration is currently working on devolving the government to bring services closer to local communities and uniting the fiscal system and treasury. He said the fight against Al-Shabaab is the most important priority, adding that those plans are underway to retake the state capital Buale from Al-Shabaab. Garowe, who has been at loggerheads with the country's leadership in Mogadishu, has said that the security situation in the country has deteriorated under the current federal administration. The opposition is demonized as it is characteristic of Al-Shabaab. Jubaland now accuses current federal administration of sharing a lot of practices with Al-Shabaab, raising the possibility of there being cooperation between the two. The state argues that parts of the country that were free when they came to power are now under Al-Shabaab control. Kismayo also believes that President Mohamed Abdillahi Hassan can't be entrusted with any of the government's institutions as they have misused the national army, control over the airspace, and the country's finances. The interference in the affairs of member states, they say, is a policy adopted by the current federal administration that will never succeed, and its efforts to bribe leaders to follow their ideologies and doctrines are bound to fail. President Ahmed Islam Madobe, while addressing the parliamentarians, also accused the central government of countless attempts to bribe him to stand down and agree with all the current administration's policies. Although Madobe was talking tough in his address, the underlying statement in his speech was his readiness for a dialogue with the federal administration under the constitutional framework and arbitration. The power tussle in Somalia is the latest instance of tensions between Mogadishu and its regional governments. Jubaland authorities in August accused Mogadishu of interfering in its election and seeking to remove President Ahmed Madobe and get loyalists in power to increase its control. Madobe is a key ally of Kenya, which sees Jubaland as a buffer against Al-Shabaab fighters who have staged several bloody attacks across the border. The African Union has called upon the federal government of Somalia and the Republic of Kenya to resolve their tensions along the border via dialogue. Chairperson of the Commission of the African Union, Musa Faki Mohammed, appealed to all stakeholders from both countries to exercise calm and utmost restraint. The statement read in part, the chairperson of the Commission appeals to all stakeholders to exercise calm and utmost restraint and encourages the two countries to resolve their differences through dialogue. Mohammed's remarks came amid tensions in the border town of Mandera, despite talks between Presidents Mohamed Farmajo and Uhuru Kenyatta on Wednesday. Mandera's governor Ali Roba warned of escalating tension in the border town on Friday, noting Jubaland soldiers were still roaming freely in the town. A statement released by Fila Somalia on Thursday noted the leaders of the two countries had spoken on phone on Wednesday night and resolved to handle the border issue. It added that the leaders agreed to form a joint commission to address the disputes. Both Kenya and Somalia have traded accusations in the last 2 weeks. Somalia pointed finger at Kenya over what it termed as intrusion and encroachment, but Kenya dismissed the claims and later warned Somalia of provocation. Monday's gunfight, which caused panic among residents at Mandera border town, came just a day after the return of 11 members of parliament from the northeastern region from a trip in Somalia, where they held talks with President Farmajo. Although details of the secret visit remained scanty, 7 lawmakers from the region on Monday told reporters their concern on the escalating tensions between Somalia and Jubaland spilling over to Kenya were indeed valid, describing the turn of events at the border town as a pointer to the security crisis. The leaders linked the emerging dispute to the existence of unmanaged Somalian fugitives in the country, cautioning against action that may destabilize the Horn of Africa. Amnesty International had in September 2019 issued a statement calling for the arrest of Jubaland Security Minister Abdillahi Hassan, who was being sought after the Mogadishu for what the lobby group termed as criminal responsibility for crimes under international law and other serious human rights violations, including obstructing humanitarian assistance. The Somali government has equally blamed the neighboring state for interfering in its domestic affairs. Thank you for joining us. That was our news in brief. Stay tuned for our full and more detailed news coverage coming to you later tonight.